Good evening, everyone. Thank you again so much for tuning in. This is the Real Deal Network. I am Andre, and again, this is my beautiful wife, Essie.
Hello, how you doing? How you doing?
And
how
you know she still is the boss. Thank you all again so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for all the support we've been getting, all the subscribers, all the thumbs up, everything. We so highly appreciate it, and we thank you again so much. And if you haven't had the opportunity to subscribe, can you do it now? We really would appreciate it. Also, hit the thumbs up and the notification bell so that you will be alerted the moment we drop another interesting and nice video.
Yes. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Thank you all so much. Now we're going to dive right into tonight's topic. It's a topic that everybody is familiar with. It's been in the media quite a bit these days. It's somewhat controversial. To me, it's not. It's just a part of life, and it's called homosexuality and its impact on the black community. What you think, honey?
I think we need to pause and show a clip.
All right, we will.
We'll be right back.
All right. Thank you all again. And we're returning. First thing we like to do is define homosexuality in today's term. And basically, in the most generic form, all it is the sexual attraction to someone of the same sex. Now, what I would like to do is ask you a question. How has African Americans in the past, you think, felt about homosexuality?
In the past, African Americans think that homosexuality goes against the Word of God, and they still believe that in their heart of hearts. More than 2014 or 15, 80% of African Americans were of the Christian faith, and so asking them to go against the Word of God because of political or your personal beliefs, it's just going to be difficult.
It is. It's a very intriguing question. It's a very sensitive subject. A lot of people are afraid to actually dive right into it. But like I said in the beginning, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's a grown-up topic. It's something that humans been dealing with, I would imagine, since the beginning of time. The difference of today is that a lot of people don't want to approach the subject. They don't want to talk about the subject in fear of reprisal, in fear of offending someone, and the backlash that typically comes from it. I think that typically happens when people don't express themselves in a manner of not just educating a person, but you just come out and kind of be very aggressive about your stance, not open to understanding, but just explain yourself why you believe what you do, and just constantly just pushing that's your personal belief. It has nothing to do with offending anybody, but that's the way you believe. Everybody's entitled to believe what they want to believe.
And we're specifically talking about this because it's been in the media, especially with you have a lot of celebrities, especially now that Dwayne Wade has come out with his transgender son and allowing him to, express himself and transition and so on and so forth while he's 12, I believe.
Yeah,
and so, once you start trying to preach to the children and be a spokesperson for the African American community, when overwhelmingly the African American community does not agree with specifically that issue. Now, in the past, black people don't mind if you are, that's something that you want to do. You are more than welcome to go off and do your own thing in your own home. Most black people have not been trying to, withhold rights from people who are homosexual, and more African Americans believe that, they should have equal rights under the law. They're human. You love them. Everybody has family members. That doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you believe personally, if that's the right thing to do in your household when you raise your children.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like my wife said, Dwayne Wade has been getting a lot of criticism as well as support, but it's a very controversial situation. Like she said, the young man is only 12, and now I think they're referring to in the pronoun as a female. Just my personal beliefs, I don't agree with that type of thing. I don't believe in that type of thing, just like my wife say, based on my faith principles and my own personal principles. As a young man, I recall growing up, and before I had any kind of experience in terms of religion or church or faith beliefs or anything like that, I did encounter individuals that were homosexual. That was, as I can recall vaguely, there was a man that did hair, and he was very good friends with the mother of a young lady that I went to school with. So I didn't. Basically, as a young man, I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand why he moved very feminine, why he acted very feminine. Nobody never sat down and talked to me about it. When you're young like that, it would help if the parent would sit down and explain some of that to you. I was very curious. I thought it was a little bit different and odd because I have never seen anything like that. And that's one of the areas that I think a lot of people fail in. And that's why people get offended when somebody say they don't agree with it, because nobody sat down to explain different things to them. Now that don't mean somebody's gonna agree with you with that, because like I say, I don't. But that's your lifestyle. If you choose to live that way, then that's how you choose to live. I just
right,
don't
and
agree
you
with
don't
it.
have to exclude people that choose to live that specific lifestyle. Again, they have made that choice, just like with anything else in another person's life. They get to make their own decisions and choose to live how they want. But when you try to make that a doctrine of and enforce that upon a people that wholeheartedly, as far as percentage wise, do not believe that that is the will of God. And you just have to take, black people are God's people wholeheartedly. And the word of God is in them naturally. Most black people are brought up in the church, and aside from the church, even if you've never went to church in your entire life, as a young person, you naturally feel, and there's something's not right about that. You feel something like, something that's weird. That's not right. And I had my own experiences growing up. One of my mom's friends, we went to go hang out with her, but she had somebody that was staying with her, and he was a man that had, was just effeminate, and I didn't have any idea about what homosexuality was or anything like that. You just kind of felt like, something's not right about it. Something's amiss. You don't know what it is. Nobody has ever told you or explained to you what it is, but you just feel as though something ain't right about it. You don't have any ill will towards the person. You don't wish anything wrong or any of those things, but you just feel, even as a child, that's something not right. That's not in the will of God. And so those are the same sentiments that reverberate through the African American community. So in politics, And as far as celebrities, when you have them in the public and they are expressing to be a leader or a spokesperson for the community, promoting this, that's not where the community is at. They don't speak for most people.
Right. And there's, like we say, that it's all about personal preference and personal opinion. It's this is the way we feel, this is the way my wife feels, this is the way I feel. I don't have to pay your bills. I'm not in your house. So whatever you doing in your spot, that's between you and God. I don't have nothing to do with that. So I'm not going to judge you on that. Long as it's not brought to me, I'm good. And so a lot of people tend to have problems and issues with that. It's being promoted and propagated now in terms on television, and it's outright. Before it was very, I would say, kind of low key, kind of taboo in a sense in terms of being in public with it. Now it's just outright, and so some people feel uncomfortable about that.
Well, the issue is not that fact that you, if that's your lifestyle, then, be my guest. But when you try to make that seem like it's the normal thing,
yes, and
you force that upon people that's not their beliefs, everybody is entitled to believe and feel as though, what's in their religion. In Christianity.
Well, what would you say if they say, well, y'all forcing heterosexuality on us in terms of on television, in terms of in public and things like that? Why you get to do it and they don't get to do it?
Why do we get to do it? I mean, nobody that's a heterosexual should be in public doing those things in front of you either.
not out there like that, but you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that goes with what God said too. A man and woman are supposed to get together and procreate. I mean, these are just the laws of nature. And you may try to circumvent them with science. You may try to circumvent them by, trying to be God, but you're not God and it's not natural. That's not the way we choose to raise our children. So if that's your choice, that is fine. But to try to force that upon people that do not believe that, now that's where you went wrong.
Yeah, that's just like me trying to tell you to like women, and you don't. That's not for me to do. I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm not gonna flaunt it in front of you or anything like that. So that's the problem that I think a lot of people have. Like a politician gets up or a celebrity gets up and he says something, and then later on it comes back to bite him. I guess Kevin Hart had a situation like that where he tweeted something in the past and it came back to get him. They found it to be, I guess, homophobic in a sense. And so he caught a lot of flack for it, but he wasn't apologetic about it, and it created a problem. Now, if it was derogatory and nasty, you could see why.
No trash in here.
Right.
But that's something that we don't believe is in the will of God. And so you have other politicians that get up, like Al Sharpton is going around with Buttigieg and bringing him into black churches and getting photographs, sitting in diners and getting photographs, trying to make Al Sharpton, who is supposedly a political leader, make it seem as though it's all right. That is not, and he ain't no leader of mine. What do you call that? He is part of the what? Boule. Okay? And if you don't know that term, you're best to look it up.
Well, that's true. And if you didn't know who Buttigieg is, he's a president candidate he's a mayor out of South Bend, Indiana. And like she said, I think he's openly gay as well as Elizabeth Warren. So, I mean, there's people out there, and nobody gives Elizabeth Warren a hard time for it or anything like that. She don't flaunt it in your face and things of that nature.
Right. But the problem is Al Sharpton is specifically bringing Buttigieg over into the African-American church, trying to warm him up and make him endearing and make his sexuality okay with. We don't want to know about your sexuality. What the political issues? Right. Stop all that. No.
Right. That's definitely a big point of contention. It's two separate things. He's running for president. He's campaigning. His sexual situation is really, like I said, that's none of my business. I don't pay his bills. I'm not around him like that. That's none of my business. And it's the same in terms of when you parenting. You don't really know how your kids gonna turn out. You don't know what they're gonna like. You just hopefully they don't come around you with certain situations that you don't believe in. I'm just saying.
I mean,
these
you
are the
just try
type
to instill in them the way that you should. If your child wants to wake up every day and have donuts and cake and so on and so forth, you're not gonna be giving them donuts and cake and candy for breakfast, or you shouldn't. If you're doing that, you shouldn't be doing it. Okay, a child is innocent, and at that moment, you should guide them in a way that is godly, and that the way that they should go. If when they get of age and they get old enough to make their own decisions, they could choose their own path. But at the time, that's precious, and you should guide and protect them.
Well, I think this is how I go just to speak on Dwayne Wade's situation with his son. Most people are getting on him because they saying he's out doing like a press tour and putting his son's sexuality out there in the public for everybody.
Well, if that is the choice that Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle made for their household in their for their child, then they made that for their child. But to try to put him out there and make him the face of transgender young children, and they are very vulnerable and impressionable. You got enough thing coming if you think black people are gonna no.
Well, my personal opinion, I think that if he has the platform to do that, and the people are willing to accept him and let him come out and do that, that's his business. I think what a lot of people are failing to get is that you have your own kids, and you need to talk to them and instill the type of values you want in them in your house. So regardless of what people are doing outside, regardless of who's doing what, because right now the world is a different place. It's kind of wide open. Anything goes.
And the problem is, honey, that they are constantly making this the face of black people, the face of the African American community, with feminized women or men that rape, or men that children that are homosexual. No, okay. Where are the black men that are strong, that are good fathers and good husbands that represent the community? And if the celebrities, or if the politicians, or even if the preachers aren't willing to do it because they're too scared, they want to get paid, they don't want their check to stop, well then common citizens, like the community, needs to get out and speak and say that's not something that we want to have it as a forefront, or people to speak for us. They can speak for themselves.
Well, my thing of it is, I went to school, I learned how to read, so I can read the Bible for myself. I don't look for Dwayne Wade, a basketball player, to guide me morally. All I need from him is to watch basketball. So I think that's the way people be getting it twisted. Just because you're a celebrity, that doesn't give you the right to talk to me about things in terms of my personal viewpoints on how I run my family. So if you focus on your family and you instill the values you want in your kids, and you make them aware, just like I say, when I was a young man, nobody really talked to me. I just saw the guy and saw he was moving very feminine. I know in my heart, it just was a little different for me. I hadn't seen that before. And so if you raise your kids and you tell them and to be aware of things like that, then they'll know better. Mm-hmm. So when they see a person like Dwayne Wade and his son, they won't say, oh man, that looks kind of neat or something like that. He getting his fingernails painted and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So the kid will be more prepared when he go out there or when he watches television. And you also want to be very cautious about what they see on the what they call the idiot box, as well as the computer.
And that is the other issue, that parents often use that as a way to, pacify the children when they want to break. Hey, go watch your tablet, go watch your computer, go watch this. And these people are flooding the airwaves. So it's just like with anything, it might not be influencing us because, we grew up in a community that wasn't going to stand for that, but as far as our children, they are more susceptible because the community is not embracing of them. They're just kind of out there or quiet, and that is the problem. If you're quiet and you don't say anything, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And as God's people, that is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be letting everybody know, hey, that ain't it. Okay?
Well, all you can do is pray for them. Like you say, you try to instill the best values you can in your children. They still their own individual person. You don't have the right to control anybody. They're gonna still do what they want to do, but you just pray that they have good godly values and do the things that they know to do is right. And you're not gonna be able to control the media, their narrative, but you can control what takes place inside your home, and that's what you need to focus on. Other people, what you've learned about people in the United States and probably across the world right now, most people are followers. Whatever they see, they follow it. They just do whatever's in trend, whatever the fashion trend is, that's what they do. It's very few leaders, it's very few individuals. But that's what I raised my young men to be, and like I said, I just pray to God they follow a path that's good for them.
And again, we don't teach hate.
No,
you love everybody. Everybody has the right to have some rights and all those things as a citizen. That is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about discriminating against anybody. None of that. However, we are talking about what we believe in our household, what we want to represent our community as a whole, and that is not to anything that goes against God's word. That's it.
Well, like I said, you definitely have to start in the house. That's where it starts at. And that's pretty much what you can control. Because right now, like I say, the world going crazy. Everybody doing things that are somewhat unnatural. And when it comes to sexuality, this is just my experience with life. People gonna do whatever they want to do. All you can do is control your immediate surroundings. That's it. And so what's going on out there in the streets, I can't control. All I can do is pray about it. If somebody asks me about me, I can just tell you about me. That's all. I always love women, and ain't nothing gonna change about that. That's just how stuff rolls. But everybody else could do what they want to do. I don't think in D Wade situation, I don't think that was something he expected. I think that kind of fell into his lap, and he just kind of rolled with it how it went. I don't think any parent is, when you're a parent, you don't really prepare for situations like that. It just happens. You know what I'm saying? And how he handled it, that's why I can't really criticize the man on that. That's him and his household. He pays bills. That's between him and his wife and his ex-wife.
But the problem is they're celebrities, and it's not between them. They make it as though it represents the community. You don't see evangelical white people that accept that. And as far as their celebrities, their country are not, you do not see that they. No, you better go somewhere and sit down with that. That does not represent.
But it's like television. You still have power. When the TV show come on, either you watch it or you turn the TV off. Right. I mean, it's the same thing. D Wade might be out there promoting it, but that you don't have to adhere to it. You don't have to absorb it and listen to it. You can just cut him off. But if they giving him that platform to do that, it's people out there that's gonna fall for that. They gonna always fall for something.
And I think that's a tactic also, because most of the time people have a person who's gay in their family. You love them, just the same as any other person in your family, but you just don't accept the lifestyle as far as for the entire family. That's Johnny or whatever, you know what he does, but you love him, and that they live their own lifestyle. But that, I think, distracts you from other issues in our community. Like, for instance, African Americans encompass almost 40% nearly of the black male population is in prison, is in a correctional facility. So if you have that, and then you start encouraging a large population of homosexuality or children to be curious and try to think that that's okay to go into, basically you have a shortage of men to be able to repopulate your people. I mean, what you promote the extinction, basically.
Well, what that do is make the brothers who are good. You just a rare breed.
No, nobody want no bad dude. What the heck? No.
Well, no, I'm just playing. But my thing of it is to me, what is natural for me is a man to have him a woman. But that's my opinion. that doesn't affect anybody else. That's how you want to do and roll in your life. I don't have no control of that. I ain't even gonna get into that. That's y'all situation. Just like I say, just keep it away from my place and how I roll, and we're good. And like my wife say, everybody got family members, people got kids, even parents. So it's everywhere. So you can't just hide and say, oh, I don't need to deal with that. Everybody got to deal with it. And like I said, if they're an adult, that's their business. You know what I'm saying? And if they flaunting it around, maybe the guy is what they call flamboyant. You don't have to deal with that. You don't have to entertain that at all.
Right. I guess they just want to make it be part of society as a whole or whatever. But I mean, that's never been an issue in the black community as far as them being a part of the black community. I mean, come on now. They've always been a part. Maybe they didn't feel like they were a part because they couldn't live openly. But I mean, once again, 80% of black people are Christian based. Now, you might not be going to church often, or you might not have a specific, you might not be in the sanctified church or whatever, but you have in your core, and this is not I'm not coming up with this. This is statistically based. About 80% are faith based. And so therefore, that is the reason why. And we're giving you the in the living room conversation. Okay?
Right. These are the type of conversations that people have in the kitchen, and that they sometimes would like to have openly, like with other people. But everybody tend to get offended easily. Either the person who's saying they're against it is overbearing, or the other person super sensitive, and then you got a coalition coming against you.
Right.
So it's just all it is people telling you what their preferences are and what they do. And if you like that, then you like that. If I like being with women, then that's what I like.
I think they just want black people to accept it and bring it on into their political issues, because anytime black people give it the stamp of approval, it's the cool thing to do, and people will just people will just do it. Oh no. Mm-mm.
Well, I think in today's society, that's how stuff typically works. If anybody do it, if you see a celebrity doing it, everybody doing it.
No, they always try to bring those things to the black community first, make it popular, whatever it is, and then it disseminates from there, because they feel like black people are cool, and they do the cool stuff first, so they want to try to do whatever it is.
I ain't gonna get into what I feel about that in terms of I just don't believe.
We're speaking about politics.
Right. I just don't believe in our community it was as prevalent as in some other communities. By us making it cool, all that does is probably give them the green light to be able to be out more openly with it. But I think their numbers are a lot higher than it is in the African American.
That's what I say. Evangelicals don't stand for it. They're going to tell you quick, no. Chick-fil-A, we close on Sundays because guess what we doing? We at church.
Me, don't get me started with this evangelical stuff. Yeah.
I'm just saying they at least stand for whatever they believe in.
They do.
Whatever they say. Now that's a whole nother video. We'll get to that. And we got to have another video about what is the boule. Because I'm sure a lot of y'all was trying to Google it or you look it up. But we'll come out with a video about what boule is and all those different terms that you need to be aware of.
And we will. And like we say, this is not the bash anyone. All it is a general.
We love everybody.
It's a general conversation about stuff that everybody talks about. Everybody has a family member, friend, or even they personally dealing with. Mm-hmm. So it's a grown-up conversation. No need to get ruffled or anything like that.
Well, we just sharing with you maybe what you wouldn't normally get in the black household.
Right.
And what we talk about behind closed doors, in the barbershop, in the hair shop, at church, or wherever we're at. These are the things that we're talking about. And it ain't what you're seeing on TV.
Yes. As my wife said in the previous video, she's strictly and I'm hippie. Well, again, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we love everybody, and thank y'all so much for supporting us. And if you would, please hit that subscribe button. We have more interesting conversation like we had this evening, and we would really like if you leave comments below. Please.
Yeah, everybody's not going to agree with us, you know.
Right,
but
right.
We are just sharing a point of view that you don't get to see very often.
Right, and you get to express your opinion. Please leave it in the comment, and we will thank you so much in advance for it. And again, we appreciate you. Good night.